The developers have gone and they have done it again. Operation Iron Horse, race to world first. You know there's only going to be one team that wins this, right? I've heard a lot of rumours, and one of those rumours was the fact that there was an image put up on Reddit stating that POG have already played this raid and completed it. I don't know if that's true. I don't know anything besides it apart from hearing that that is the case. I also heard a few months back that Marco Style has a character over 1000 shade level, and that was literally shortly after the first couple of people started getting it because they were exploiting the target practice. So there are a lot of rumours going around about POG and Marco Style and the fact that this raid is going to be a shambles, but that's not the main focus of this video. The main focus is, again, the developers lying. And not only that, they are dividing the community. I will explain as we get further into it, but this is the race to world first. The second raid, Operation Iron Horse, drops on June 30th. That's only if you're level 40 and have bought their expansion. If you've given them £25, it's available then. If you're still a level 30 character, you have to wait until the 7th of July. It's a 1 week delay if you don't have the expansion. It's been a long time coming. Well, no shit, I'm glad you realised that as well, whoever wrote this article. But the wait is finally over, and the Foundry is shaping up to be one of the most challenging pieces of content we've ever released. I doubt it's going to be as challenging as Legendary difficulty. I really doubt it. I mean, Legendary is even tougher than Operation Dark Hours, which is their first raid. But not only that, this raid, as it states right here, drops on June 30th. I've already seen a loading screen for the raid. I've already seen gameplay of someone actually inside the grounds of the raid. They messed up so badly with the launch of TU10, and the Season 2's not even out yet, but you can get all of the Season 2 rewards. They've implemented the stuff into the general loot pools a week before the season even starts. So by the time it comes around to playing this season for that content you get on the reward track, you're probably already going to have a lot of it in your stash. I've seen people opening exotic caches that they've saved, and they've got the Mantis, the Vial Mask. There's no point. But yes, there is gameplay. People have managed to get inside this second raid somehow. There's no enemies or anything. It's not set up. But you can actually get in there, you can explore, you can walk around, you can see what there is. It actually gives you an objective even though you can't complete it. But people are able to access the raid already. So it just goes to show how much the devs don't care, because if they cared at all in the slightest, they wouldn't have these mishaps. And they happen every single update, without fail. I guarantee the next title update is going to bring in more bugs. But it carries on to say that 8-player mission will require top-of-line build performance and the pinnacle of teamwork in order to complete. There's no matchmaking for this, by the way. If you're wanting to do this, you need 8 players. You all have to be in a group because there is no matchmaking at all. And if you wanted to use Discovery to find players to try and build a team, then you can't do that because Discovery isn't coming till a later date either, even though they've had a year to work on this stuff. As a reward lies 2 new exotic weapons, the Ravenous Binary Trigger Rifle and the Regulus Magnum Revolver, which is, I'm surprised they actually managed to keep those out of everything. But they say, as well as the first dedicated healer and pure tank gear sets, the Future Initiative and the Foundry Bulwark. If you saw yesterday's video, you would know this is a straight up lie. These gear sets are not raid exclusive. The chest and the backpack do get locked to the raid, but you can build a 4-piece with the mask, the holster, the knee pads and the gloves. You can do that at any time. Literally log on to your games a day, focus on the targeted loot for gear sets, you will get these pieces. That means the gear sets are not raid exclusive, talents are raid exclusive. The 2 talents that you would get for each of these sets are being locked behind the raid. They never used to do that. The original raid had Aces and Eights, Negotiator's Dilemma, Tip of the Spear, that was fully locked behind the raid. Then they released Gear 2.0 and everything like that. They did a couple of title updates or whatever, but they ended up putting some of the pieces out in the open in the general loot pools, and then eventually they got fed up with it, so they released Aces and Eights and everything out of the raid completely. So if you are running Operation Dark Hours right now, literally the only reason to do it is the Eagle Bearer. There are no more raid exclusive gear sets in number 1. That's probably going to be the case for number 2, but You're probably thinking to yourself, well, why have they done it like that? Why have they locked these talents behind this raid? Because they are trying to force players to play this content. They have gone, okay, the mask, the gloves, the knees, and the holster are out of the raid. People will get those. They will like the idea of them. They will want to see the talents. They're going to come play our raid. That is their whole idea behind it. There's no other reason for it. Why would you lock 2 pieces and not the full 6? They want to put a little bit of it in front of your face to get you tempted. But trust me, these gear sets don't look worth it at all. They say dedicated healer and pure tank gear sets. They still haven't sorted survivability. So no matter how much of a tanky gear set that is, it's pointless. Moving on, race to first. The raid is free for all players. No, it fucking isn't. And any group of 8 players can squad up to take it in, yeah, but you have to pre-group. There's no way to matchmake. I mean, on State of the Game, they're probably going to tell you, oh, you can use our official forums, our Discord, all that sort of stuff, because they want to promote their own social media. If you are going to look for a team, I would probably recommend finding a Division 2 community, like on Discord, not necessarily the official one. You can use my Discord if you want to. That's not a plug, I'm just saying, like, these are ways to do it. You can use the LFG on Xbox. I've found a lot of, like, I'm going to say decent players. I found a lot of decent players for the first raid, simply just doing LFG. Okay, so any group of 8 players can squad up to take it in, but only a single group per platform can lay claim to the title of World's First. So they're doing it platform-based, like, initially, straight off the bat this time round, because they didn't the first time. But the group is not limited to friends or clan mates. You can try your hand at the raid with anyone, but outstanding communication and cooperation will be necessary to have a show of victory. So they're saying, you can raid with anyone you want to, but you've got to have your own means to find a team. They're not going to implement matchmaking for us. Then they've got a load of shit where they're promoting their Twitch drops. If you watch some of the streamers that are like having this stuff enabled, then you can go get this hat. Like the helmet does look quite decent, but this thing here, fuck off. I'm fed up with backpack trophies. This is the biggest part of it. This is where the lie comes into it. And there are a lot of terms and conditions, but we don't need to read through them. They are all a load of shite because of one line. Well, one like small paragraph. Operation Iron Horse is charging forth. Are you prepared? Can you and your squad take on the challenge? The race to World First begins on June 30th, 5 PM CEST. So that's, if you're in the UK, that's 4 PM. It's the exact same time they run their State of the Game live stream, but it will be on June 30th. The Crucible of the Foundry awaits agents / the Division 2 development team. Operation Iron Horse Race to World First competition terms and conditions. You have to follow these T's and C's in order to take part. But ready for this? No purchase or payment necessary to participate in Ubisoft's competition. A purchase will not increase your chances of winning. Yes, they will. If you don't make a purchase for Warlords of New York, you have 0 chance of winning. If you make that purchase for Warlords of New York, the £25 expansion, you have a 100% chance of winning. It all just comes down to your personal skill between you and your team, your synergy, how well you can communicate, your builds. There's a lot of things, but basically, they have said a purchase will not increase your chances of winning. If you do not buy Warlords, you cannot participate because the raid doesn't release until the 7th of July, so June 30th is out of that fucking window. If you make the purchase for Warlords of New York, the £25 expansion, you can participate. It's in capital letters. Whoever has sat there and wrote these is a straight up fucking liar. The developers, the community managers will not say a word about this. Content creators will not call out this bullshit. There is still quite a few creators making content for this game. But every single one of them that you watch besides me, and I'm not saying that in any way, shape or form to make myself big-headed. No, fuck all that. No one has the bollocks to fucking tell these devs how it is. This is a straight up lie. This is manipulation. This is them trying to force you into purchases because you can't participate in any way, shape or form unless you make the Warlords of New York expansion purchase. They are writing terms and conditions that the people, the consumers, have to you have to obey to these rules. if you don't follow these rules, even if you was to complete the raid the first in the world, it wouldn't count, because you haven't followed the terms and conditions. But they are not allowed to write this stuff. You cannot write that there is no purchase or payment necessary, because you can't participate unless you make a purchase. Buying Warlords increases your chances. A purchase will not increase your chances of winning. Buying Warlords will, because that takes you from not being able to participate to having every chance of winning. And I know some people are going to say, well, that's not how it works, but yes, it fucking is. Like, some people are going to say exactly what any Ubisoft representative would say, or any massive entertainment community manager would say. We're not talking about a purchase as in directly purchasing Warlords. No, you would say that, because you don't want people to think that, but that is exactly how you have set this out. This entire raid, which should, even Warlords of New York should have been year 1 content. Let that sink in for a moment. The expansion that a lot of us have paid £25 for was supposed to be episode 3. When Terry Spires stood up on that stage at E3 2019, he described Warlords of New York to a T. We will be going on a manhunt. Do you know what it's like to be the last remains, and would you like to take down the guy at the top of all of this that's causing the world to fall apart? That's exactly, like, not to them words exactly, but that's what he said on stage. He described Warlords of New York. We ended up getting Coney Island, which was nothing related to Arrankina. It's all this, the entire foundation of this game is all based on lies, and it needs to stop. You have to make a purchase to participate, let alone have a chance of winning. Yet they're stating in their T's and C's that you don't. June 30th is when this begins, so if you complete this on the 7th of July, you're not a world first completionist. I'm going to leave the video there. Every single bit of bullshit these devs try and put out, I will counter it with a video of my own. I will always stay true to the community, because you will, as a creator, you will get a lot of people that say, oh, you just, they'll start baffling on about how you arse-lick the devs and all this shit, and you'll get a lot of people that do that stuff just to get a sponsor from developers. There are a couple of people in the Division 2 community that literally lick the developers' bumholes clean because they want a sponsorship. I am not going to do that. I can tell you now, this will forever stay the same. I am with the community. I would much rather not have a sponsorship off a developer if I stay true to the community. Like, I don't care about the devs. I play games for the fun of them. I play games, like, I'm not going to keep telling people this one either. I love Division 2. I just hate the developers and the way they are developing it. But I'm going to leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments. Thank you for watching.